So welcome Chapter 13 members. Today I have a special guest here with me, and this is Attorney Janice Shelton, who's with us today. We've picked some great subjects for you, and today we're going to share some of those things with you. Today, Janice, I want to start off by talking about performance appraisals.
I think that's a good topic to start off with because it's one of the most frequent matters that I find on my desk.
Let's start off by talking about one of my favorite topics, self-assessments.
Very important. And one thing I would point out before I even delve into that is that a lot of times people will ask you, well, what does the union do for me? Now, there are some things in the law that protect you as far as your performance appraisals are concerned, but those things are very limited. What really protects you in terms of performance appraisals is what's in the contract.
Yes.
And the right to do a self-assessment and the weight that should be given to that self-assessment is a contractual matter and a contractual right. So this is something that the union has bargained for you, and it's really important for all members to take full advantage of it.
Yes, and I'm so excited that we get to share some of these details that members should be able to take advantage of.
Yes.
Self-assessment is one of those things that I didn't start doing, I think, maybe until about my fourth year here, but it is something that I would encourage each and every one of you to take time to do. It does make a difference. We're going to talk a little bit about that a little more today.
Yeah, absolutely. I totally agree with you. There are several things that I would like to point out to our members about self-assessments. We look to Article 12 in the contract, which is what deals with performance appraisals. If you look at Article 12, Section 4B6, it mentions that during the final 30 days of the performance appraisal cycle, employees have the right to submit a self-assessment. And so I want to encourage employees to know when the end of your appraisal period is so that before that 30th day, before the end of the cycle, that you can submit the performance appraisal. After that, they don't have to accept it, but before that, they do.
And here's a tip, something that I do, and that may be helpful to you as well. When I receive my calendar every year, that's one of the things that I always put out 60 days before my annual ends. Is I put a date out there that this is 60 days so that I know that I can start scheduling that on my calendar.
That's a really great idea.
Yes.
I'm going to write that one down. Well, another thing that employees should know is that to prepare the self-assessment, the contract provides them with up to 4 hours on administrative time to prepare that. So you do have to give your manager an opportunity to schedule that. So you don't want to wait until the day before that self-assessment is due. But within that final 30-day period before the self-assessment comes due, just ask your manager for the time to prepare a self-assessment. And under the contract, they're required to give that time to you.
Isn't that excellent? This is something that you can take advantage of, and the time is allotted for you.
Absolutely. And another thing that's provided for in our contract that is not a matter of statute, is purely a creature of the contract, is the right to do a web-based tutorial on how to properly prepare a self-assessment. And you get up to 1 hour of administrative time to take that web-based tutorial, and it lays out for you how do you do a self-assessment and how to do it effectively so that it will help your manager in preparing a self-assessment that they can use.
And so if you've never done this before, or if you're one of our new members or new employees, this may be very beneficial to you to check into the ITM course just to see, even to get a refresher. For those of you that may have not done it in a while, I would encourage all of our members to take that refresher course.
Yeah, and you get 1 hour on the clock to take it one time. However, you can take the class as many times as you like. So every year, if you want to take a minute to take that class and refresh yourself, absolutely no problem with that.
Yes.
Another thing about self-assessments that, again, is provided for in our contract, that if you submit a self-assessment and the supervisor decides not to consider it, they have to explain why. And that right is explained in Article 12, Section 4B7. That's huge.
Yes, it is.
And it's particularly large because one of the problems that I see a lot, that employees bring to me a lot, is that the manager has not done enough reviews of them during the course of the year. So if you submit a self-assessment and management has not done the reviews, how are they going to reject that self-assessment?
That's correct. And that's one plus, because you can evaluate yourself even if the manager has not.
Yep.
So just remember that, because that self-assessment has to be considered and has to be explained if it's not used.
Yep.
That's really good, Janice.
Good stuff, right?
Yes.
Another provision of the contract, and this is actually incorporated by law, is that the performance appraisal should be based on a reasonable and representative sample of the work. And management is supposed to review a reasonable and representative sample of the work. But like I said before, more and more I'm getting cases where management has not done sufficient reviews of an employee during the course of the year. I don't understand it.
Well, take advantage of it.
If nothing else, right?
We may not understand it, but we understand our rights, and that's what we're trying to make sure that you understand what's your rights under the contract. And so this is one of them that you can take advantage of.